All right, so now I'm gonna make this crazy thing that I make all the time for me and my husband Arnold. It's just an egg white frittata, right? And it should be like a regular egg frittata. And I bet, I'm not the only person in the world to make an egg white frittata, but this is pretty good, I have to say. This is a pretty good recipe. And it's not for the faint of heart. So if you have a faint heart, goodbye.
Why is it not for the faint?
Well, because there are a few things that we do, like we put a Teflon under the broiler. I'm not sure you're supposed to do that, but we do because it comes out so perfectly. I can't even tell you. All right, so first you're going to turn on your oven to, I like convection broil. If you have convection broil or broil. And now I have some onions I cut. And in this case, I had a half of a red onion, so I cut that up from this morning. And then this white onion. Okay, so I'm gonna saute these. The clicking freaks me out. Does the clicking freak you out? Yeah, it freaks me out. Should I use a different burner? Maybe I should use maybe I'll do it here. Let's see, does this click? Oh no, wait a minute. The front burner was on? Oh, that's so scary, that was on. All right, well that's scary. But I didn't use it today, so that means it's been on for a minute. So funny, wow. All right, so now I like this to be, I'm gonna saute this onion, right? Just waiting for the oil to heat up for a second. I have about like 2 tablespoons of oil or a tablespoon and a half of oil in there with some hot chili peppers, right? Some chili flakes, pepperoncino. And now I'm gonna saute this onion. This is about 1 full large onion. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm not sweating it, I'm gonna actually cook it. So I'm gonna salt it a little bit. Okay, just a little salt in the onion. And that'll make it cook a little faster. And listen, you know what? I don't really know the difference between, I know how, if you say sweat an onion, I know how to do that. That means on lower heat with no salt. That just means the onion is gonna be completely, sweated out, right? But this is how I cook the onion for this particular recipe. I just saute it is what this is. This is a saute. So this gets done, I don't know when. I'll know when I see it. I don't know how many minutes. Can someone time? Okay, in the meantime, I gotta prep a little bit of cheese because everything is so good. I love cheese so much. I have to say, if there was a desert island and there was one food, I'm not kidding. I mean, other than ice cream and, right, it would be cheese.
So
cheese.
Dairy Island?
It would be Dairy Island, yes, totally. And not like soy Dairy Island, but actual Dairy Island, like Milk Island. Milk and cream and half island. Okay, so this is cheese. This is a little mozzarella that I love, right? So I'm just gonna cut this cheese, right, into some matchsticks while I saute an onion. By the way, one thing I really love is how everybody knows what a matchstick is. Isn't that amazing? We all know when you say cut it into matchsticks, everyone knows what that means. That's a matchstick, look. It looks like a matchstick, but it's made of cheese, right? Okay, so that's a matchstick. And then we're gonna grate some of this Gruyere cheese, which is so delicious. Gruyere is so good, right? You can grate this cheese coarsely. It doesn't have to be grated finely, right? And I would say, how many tablespoons? Probably about a half a cup or 3/4 of a cup of cheese. Oh no, that's like a cup of, no, how many cups of that, the cheese is that? Would you say? Is that a full cup? Okay, a cup of cheese. And maybe more, I might grate more of this later, we'll see. All right, so I feel what do you all like? Do you like to not, I like to taste the little crunch of the onions. What do you think? Should we continue cooking them down or what? Look. A little crunch of onion? Okay, we're gonna have a little crunch of onion. Yeah, because we're gonna keep cooking this anyway. So there's that. And then there's a little bit of garlic that goes in. This is about 1.5 cloves of garlic that's been minced. And that goes in. And once the garlic goes in, you have to pay attention. So, yeah, because you don't want to overcook the garlic. You just want to cook it till you smell it prominently, right? And then it's going to burn, so you don't want to do that. And then we have all of these mushrooms. All of those mushrooms, I think. Most of those mushrooms. I'm not sure. We'll have to do this. I'm starting to smell the garlic, right? All right, so now some of these mushrooms, which have been cut to different sizes, trying to be as uniform as possible, right? Yeah, I think that's enough. Look, boom. That gets salted also. I don't know how much salt. I wish I did. Like what? I'm just kind of eyeballing it. Like salt it so that you want to taste the salt, but not too salty. Okay, how does that sound? Oh, and also, I don't mind a little black pepper. I don't mind a little black pepper in with the pepperoncino. I think it tastes good. And then the sage, I would put the sage in now, right? I love having everything cut up in advance. It makes it so easy when you're not running after stuff, right? Listen, darlings, I have to admit something. These mushrooms came pre-cleaned from like Citarella. I didn't, because everyone has like some other crazy process by which you clean mushrooms. And you know, I don't want to clean mushrooms. If you can get them all cleaned and sort of just cut up, right? Isn't that just make it easier? Yeah, it does. I mean, it's like $40 for like a thing this big, but it's fine, right? It saves a lot of time. My mushroom cleaning process is to buy them already pre-cleaned at Citarella, yes. Because first of all, I mean, I learned how to clean mushrooms 1,000 times. I just can't remember, you know? I can't remember how you're supposed to do it. Some people insist that you only do it with like a damp towel. So that's what I should do. I should just do it with a damp towel, right? I mean, that makes it, it's a simple thing. You just do it with a damp towel, period. Okay, so now we've cooked these mushrooms. We're gonna cook these down further, and it's gonna get smaller and smaller. That's the thing about mushrooms, is that, you know, it gets smaller and smaller. I probably could have used all these mushrooms. I'm gonna use more. I know, right? It's not too late. Okay, boom. Oh, it's too late. It's too late. No, it's not. Look how crazy I am. I'm so crazy. But it's going to taste really good. It's going to taste really good, I swear. It's going to taste really good. It's just going to be different varieties of like tastes of mushrooms, you know? Like some are going to be more cooked than others. Don't judge me. This is going to be really delicious, I promise. All right, we're going to cook this down for about a minute or 2 or 5. Oh, it's a lot of mushrooms now. Oh, no. It is, it's a lot of mushrooms now. Maybe too many mushrooms. No. There's no such thing as too many mushrooms. You're so right.
So you did 5 minutes for
Or
onions, and then after 5 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
Was 5 minutes for the onions?
5.5 minutes. For the
Right
onions.
on. I love that fact. Because that's what it's supposed to be, you know? But I always think I'm too impatient to like saute an onion. But I do it, right? It's 5 minutes. I love that. Thank you. That made me very happy. Okay, so this is giving off a lot of water right now, which is a good thing, right? So now it's onions and mushrooms and salt and pepper flakes and a little bit of garlic and sage, right? And that's just cooking down, cooking down, cooking down a little bit more, right? And then egg whites. Let's see. This is a lot of egg whites. A lot of, I don't know how many. It's a pint of egg whites, but I don't know how many eggs had to be killed in order to make these egg whites. And so if you have the egg yolks, you got to do something with the egg yolks, right? And I really don't have to make ice cream or creme anglaise or anything, or like anything with egg yolks. So for the moment, I'm just going to use prepared or pre-prepared egg whites. And they're not bad. Thing is, you can't use these to make a souffle. I've tried, and it doesn't rise. You have to use that, you have to separate eggs for. Okay, so now this is pretty much cooked to where it needs to be cooked, okay? And so we're gonna sort of like even it out in the pan, right? Even it out a little bit in the pan, right? Like that. And then we're gonna pour in this entire pint of egg whites. Okay, all in, right? Boom. Right in the center, and it will distribute itself appropriately. Now the cheese gets laid in. And I like to do it in this kind of like pretty sunburst of cheese. That's a memoir title, right? A pretty sunburst of cheese. I'm using all this cheese because I'm telling you, the more cheese you use, the more delicious it is, okay? Seriously. And that is a rule, okay? That's usually the rule. If you put more cheese in something, it's gonna be more delicious. And I mean that, okay? It's not always true about butter. You know how some people say that, oh, it's the more butter, the better. Sometimes it's like not that delicious on the palate. You know, it gets like all like kind of, no, I don't like too much. Too much butter is not always good, right? Sometimes it's good. Okay, that's my own theory about butter. But cheese, you can't get enough cheese. Like, when was the last time you had macaroni and cheese that had like too much cheese in it? Excuse me? Yeah, I don't think so. All right, so now that happened, and then I salted again, because I salted for the egg whites and the cheese. Just a little bit of salt, right? What is that? I don't know. It's some kind of salt quantity, all right? That's it. And then this kind of grated cheese goes over, right? Like a little layer of this, just because it's going to melt on top under the broiler, right? And it's going to finish cooking under the broiler. Oh no. Oh no. People, please be nice. If I'm not supposed to use a broiler with a Teflon pan, be really nice, because I don't want to know. I don't want to know the answer to that. I tried doing it with a cast iron, and it would not unmold. It just wouldn't unmold, you know? So that's why, I'm sorry. And it's only for about 6 minutes. Okay, no. So now this goes under the broiler. I would use a little pepper. Sorry. A little pepper. Oh my God. Okay, so then this goes under the broiler. 2 hands, use 2 hands, always 2 hands. And that goes under the broiler. And then it's like about 1:30 and check it, and then another 1:30 and move it around. Like, you have to kind of move it around, right? All right. Okay, that's 1:30 times 3. What's 1:30? That's 4.5 minutes so far. I think it's going to need another 1.5 minutes. Did you ever read, did you ever read Ruth Reichel's hilarious book called Comfort Me with Apples, or Tender at the Bone, about her mother's cooking? It is hilarious. You must read that book. Ruth Reichel, Tender at the Bone, about her mother's cooking. She would like basically give the family ptomaine like every single night at dinner, because she didn't care if something was old, or she just would put it on the table, you know? Yeah, it'd be like rotten food that she would cook and like serve to dinner, for dinner. Hilarious, right? That's my idea of one good joke, right? That is a funny joke. Okay, sorry. All right, so now this should look cute. I'm going to give it another couple of seconds, all right? What's so fucking funny over there? This is not funny. This is a cooking demonstration.
What's the definition of a cute frittata?
A cute frittata is like bubbly and kind of cheesy. All right, so it's coming out now. Ready? And also 2 hands, darling. Always use 2 hands, especially with something very hot. Okay, wait a minute now. All right, so there's the frittata, right? And you see, you just kind of wiggle it like that, and it just kind of comes right out. I mean, that is beautiful, right? It's quite hot, so be careful when you eat it. It's so good. Mushrooms and cheese. How do you go wrong?